I can tell you that there's a great deal of effort going on to look at this issue realistically right now, Alex. I think that there's a good potential that that's where they want to go for their next big attack, and I don't think they've let down. So I know this may be hard for you and your listeners to accept. I believe that they are going in that direction. I believe that's where they're going next.
Could the Russians, like Alexander Lebed say, actually sell nukes?
I believe there's people within the infrastructure who'd be willing to sell the nuclear weapon based on personal gain. Yeah, I do believe that. So that's something to be cognizant of. I'm not saying it would happen. I think that that's something we need to be realistically looking at, though.
Well, you're going to be able to talk about a lot more of this coming up in August when the book, yes, The Dark Side of the Force, comes out. We look forward to speaking to you then. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
All right, there goes Lieutenant-Colonel Anthony Shaffer. Very interesting interview, very interesting individual joining us from Ireland. Okay, here's the deal. We got Jim Tucker coming up for 30 minutes in the next hour, and then I want to do a video game review, because more and more of these video games have a pro-New World Order or anti-New World Order message, and video games in many cases are bigger than the biggest Hollywood films. Some of these video game franchises have made over $1 billion in the last 2 years. Things like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, things like that. There's an Infowars.com review of Half-Life 2 that's been out for a few years. But in this video game, they have DARPA control towers that mesmerize the public, and people are microchipped. All of this is what is actually being promoted. I mean, that's mainstream information. You tell somebody, hey, the government can put up mind control towers. Well, DARPA has been talking about that in newspapers. I mean, they're openly talking about drugging the water supply on Fox News to make us more passive. It's already going on. That's why we are so passive. The most aggressive, rebellious people ever in the history of the world. Maybe some of the Greeks were more aggressive, but definitely some of the most aggressive people ever will suddenly put up with anything, because your food, your water, and other things are being spiked. It doesn't matter if you're Colonel Shaffer or a cop down the street or Alex Jones, we're all under attack by this. And he wasn't even, shocked by the fact that I talk about the Pentagon following us around and going to end the Fed rallies. And then when I go to a Bilderberg meeting, I'm at my hotel 5 miles away, and the Feds waddle in and say, Jones, let's attack the State Department tonight together. I mean, the Feds know full well I'm not going to attack the State Department. They know full well I'm not going to attack the police. They know full well I'm trying to keep people from getting violent here, and that's what's making them mad, and that's why multiple major publications per day are lying and saying I'm calling for violence. And I'm going to get to that in a moment after we take some more of your phone calls. It's just driving me crazy to see this happening. They changed my computer around where my IMs are under a different icon, so I can see the call list. How do I pull that up? Somehow that got minimized in here, because I won't be able to pull it up in there. I need to be able to pull it up here. Okay, good. You're in control of my computer. That's good. Okay, fresh list here. John, Wyoming, Tom, Jim, Jimmy, Ryan, and others. Let's race through your calls. Let's talk to John in Wyoming. You're on the air, John.
Yeah, Alex.
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Alex? Okay. A couple of years ago, I saw a great documentary on TV about post-World War II Europe. And Poland's leader at the time was a very patriotic man, just as this man who died the other day. And he was vehemently opposed to the Allies turning over Poland as well as all of Eastern Europe to Joseph Stalin after the end of the war. And mysteriously one day he got aboard his plane, which had been tampered with not by the Russians but by the Allies, and it crashed on the island of Malta, killing this man.
It's now been declassified that our own government killed Patton because he didn't want to hand stuff over to the commies. And that's what Jesse Ventura was talking about from Fletcher Prouty, the head of Black Ops in the book The Secret Team, that our government made a deal with the Soviets to divide up the world and have third world intractable wars to build up their own power bases. It's all staged. Now, there does appear to be a real split now between Russia and the Anglo-American establishment. You heard Shaffer allude to the Russians killing them, and they had reasons to kill them. But recently, the Kaczynski president and his twin, who's in the government, had been prime minister, they have come out, for those that just joined us, I covered it earlier, and said, we're not going along with the European Union. We may get out of it. In fact, here's the headline, New York Times, Kaczynski often at a source of tension with the EU. And see, Iceland has said no to the takeover. Greece is going along with it, only partially. But if Poland says no to the banks taking them over and looting them, and this program of austerity, the whole European Union could implode. And that's not Alex Jones saying that. That's George Soros. So this is leaning towards it being a black op by NATO, but it could be the Russians as well, or it could be natural. Go ahead.
Well, I think that our people did him in much as they did the Polish leader in 1945, who wasn't going to go along with that giveaway of Poland and all of Eastern Europe to Joseph Stalin. I mean, we spent 150,000 American lives to liberate Eastern Europe from Adolf Hitler, and then we turn around and give them to Joseph Stalin. That's like trading in syphilis for gonorrhea. I mean, either way you lose, because they were both brutal dictators, they were both mass murderers, and this man wasn't going along with it, and so they made sure his plane crashed into the island of Malta, so he wouldn't be around to oppose this takeover by Stalin. And
I remember reading about that. Anything else, John?
No, sir, that'll do it, and hope you have a great day.
You too, my friend. Yeah, I mean, people ask, why is Alex Jones still alive? Well, if they kill me, it just makes all my information and material that much more popular. It kind of highlights everything I've done. But somebody like a Polish president who says, I don't like the Russians, but I'm starting to not like NATO and the EU, and you've destroyed our economy with globalization, and we're going to get out of this. And they announced that they were going to do that last week, and 5 days later, he's deader than a hammer. And as soon as we get a hold of Tarpley in the next few days, we'll get him on to give us his take, because he really is an expert in this whole area. Let's go ahead and talk to Tom in Texas. Tom, you're on the air.
Hello, Alex. How are you doing today?
Good, sir.
Had a good vacation, I hope. April 9th of this year, Sheriff Arvin West of Hudspeth County told citizens to arm themselves because he can no longer protect them from spillover of border violence. That's the third largest county in the state of Texas.
Let me stop you, because we have a Ohio county doing it and a Michigan county saying arm yourselves, but a sheriff, and we've had a lot of South Texas sheriffs on. Give me the name of the sheriff, because I want to pull an article on this right now, and I also want to get the sheriff on. Give me the name.
Arvin, A-R-V-I-N, West of Hudspeth County, Texas. It borders El Paso.
What's his name again?
Arvin West.
Okay, I thought you said Arvin West of... Okay, Arvin West, and where is he?
Hudspeth County, H-U-D-S-P-E-T-H. It borders El Paso County.
So what we should say is South Texas Sheriff says arm yourselves to protect yourselves?
Well, it's more of a West Texas. It's the county that you go through before you get to El Paso County.
Yeah, I just see that as south because it's down there by the border, but sure.
Well,
yeah, southwest.
Texas is on the border, but anyway, what I'm saying is he's telling people in that county to arm themselves because you can't protect them anymore. Also, in the statement, he said that Rick Perry had activated the Texas Border Violence Spillover Contingency Plan, in which he requested federal aid. Is that all that our government and our governor in the state of Texas is going to do? They're just going to let this continue?
Well, remember last year, what was the Texas state senator we had on? We need to get him back on. I forget his name. He said martial law had secretly been declared last year on the Texas border because they believe Mexico will fully collapse into anarchy because of the drug war. If they decriminalize drugs, it would all end, like a storm blowing over. But the drug war is meant, just like China was brought down with the drug war, it's meant to bring us down. And so there's no way they're going to stop. But I did get the article. It's a Sheriff Arvin West of Hudspeth County, Texas, tells citizens to arm themselves as he can no longer protect them from spillover border violence. So absolutely, and that's over on the border in West Texas by El Paso. Michael Burgess. Get Michael Burgess back on about this situation. Good points. Anything else you want to add, caller?
Well, all I wanted to say was maybe the rest of us start thinking along these lines also, because it's obvious Rick Perry is not going to do anything, and it's obvious that Barry Soetoro is not going to do anything. I think he's going to let it get to a critical boiling point and then declare martial law and take our rights away.
I agree with you, but again, martial law was covertly declared over a year ago, and that was even in some of the El Paso and other West and South Texas papers. And I remember 6-7 years ago talking about rocket attacks, hand grenade attacks, 17,000